Okay, it's 5 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call to order the council meeting of the East Grand Forks City Council for Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. Would the city clerk please call roll?
Mayor Mark Olsted.
Here.
Council President Brian Larson.
Here.
Council Vice President Tim Riopel.
Here.
Council members Tammy Schumacher.
Here.
Ben Pukshavinsky.
Here.
Dale Helms.
Here.
Donald Kazmi.
Here.
Karen Peterson.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, open forum. Open forum is an opportunity for members of the public to address the City Council on items not on the current agenda. Items requiring council action may be deferred to staff or boards and commissions for research in future council agendas if appropriate. Is anybody here for open forum? Yeah, please come forward, state your name and address, please.
Is this on?
Should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Matt Hank Slavin. I live at 65 Riverview Lane, Southeast. I came to the council meeting on June 3rd to discuss a lot of complaints that I had regarding our Parks and Rec department. After that meeting, Dale Helms called for the city to hire a third-party investigator to investigate all of the concerns that I brought forward. The investigation was completed and submitted to Reed. Reed then submitted his own summary of the investigation to the city council and called me in to discuss findings with me. He told me that because I submitted so much information that it couldn't all be looked into, so we narrowed it down to 4 items. To summarize our meeting, Reed said that a lot of mistakes were made on behalf of Parks and Rec and that they'll learn from it. I disagreed with most of what he described as the findings of the report, and at the end of the meeting, he told me that as a result of my posting my complaints on social media, that I violated a coaching conduct policy and would no longer be allowed to coach at Park and Rec sports. He said that I should have come by him first or city council, and then he said, well, you did come to city council. And by the way, this meeting is being streamed on YouTube, which is considered to most people to be social media. I sent the city council my response to the findings the next day. I hope you've had a chance to review them. One of the items that I brought to the attention of the city council in writing was reports that I received from 4 different parents about a coach that used to have his players blow into his breathalyzer so he could drive his car home, and a lot of other information about this coach that should have been investigated. When I mentioned this to Reed, he told me that he decided to not investigate it in order to save time. So this coach is still allowed to coach and participate in Parks and Rec's activities, but I'm not, because I spoke out publicly against our Parks and Rec department, and this other coach is a friend of the Park and Rec department. So I decided to do my own investigation and submitted a formal request to receive more information on items surrounding the past hockey season and baseball tryouts. I found that from the day I went to Parks and Rec last May 16th to voice my complaints, Parks and Rec employees John Witchick and Jeremy King have made every attempt to discredit me, lie about me, defame me, and retaliate against me while accusing me of making threats and exhibiting aggressive behavior in an attempt to make it appear that they are the victims. And our city administrator, Reed Hootenen, has done everything he can to steer this investigation to make it appear that there was no wrongdoing by our Parks and Rec department. Also included in the information that I requested is an email from Reed asking Jeremy, how did we come to the decision to organize our teams in the manner of 13UA, 14UB, and 15UA? Jeremy admits in his response that the decision to organize our teams was made based on feedback from Victor, Garrett, and Dennis. These are the parent coaches of the traveling team. Jeremy admits that they wanted to keep their team together and not have to add all of the other 13U players to their team, so they could focus on developing only those players. That's why they created a 14UB team to put all of the other 13U players on. This proves that I was right about the Babe Ruth tryouts being all for show. That's why they were only an hour and a half long. That's why they had kids hitting off of tees and batting cages. The teams had already been selected. And this was discussed from the start with John and Jeremy and the traveling team coaches. I have text messages between John and Victor showing that Victor was the one scheduling the games for these teams. He also conducted the tryouts and coached the team. And to prove this even further, I received the scores from the tryouts. And my son, based on these scores, did beat out several players on the 13U A team, but was still placed on the 14U B team. Reed had this information the entire time and withheld it from the investigator and allowed him to investigate this anyways, instead of having him spend his time investigating something else. Mr. Hughesby's investigation determined that my son was bullied through the entire hockey season last year. He mentions that John met with individual player and or entire team regarding this, but still persisted throughout the entire season. The investigation states, I find and conclude that the response at this time was insufficient. The reason for this is John's intentions were to protect the player doing the bullying rather than stop it. Mr. Hughesby states, this matter has already been addressed by Safe Sport and will not be a matter of thorough discussion in this investigation. However, Safe Sport told me that they only found, or that although they found everything in my report to be true, coaching conduct is not something they address. They told me that I have to take that up with our Parks and Rec department. The problem here is our Park and Rec coordinator was the coach in this instant and is being protected by our Parks and Rec director and city administrator. John Wichik, as the head coach and a Parks and Rec representative, allowed the bullying to take place all season, did nothing to stop it. There was never any punishment or consequences for the player doing the bullying. John even helped facilitate it by asking me not to talk to Mark Dragich about it and lying to me about having a conversation with Jeremy King about it. John knew exactly what he was doing all of last year. He knew it was wrong and continued to allow it to happen anyways. Mr. Hughesby also states in the report, while discussing the coaching conduct during the season, unfortunately, this behavior endangered the safety and well-being of the children to the point where parents were not comfortable leaving their children alone with two of the coaches when they were the only coaches available to coach the team. And at one point, this is another email that I received, at one point the mom of one of our players wrote a letter to Parks and Rec to discuss ongoing coaching conduct problems and stated, among other things, that she felt like her son should be able to look up to his coaches and not feel scared or uncomfortable. She spoke of one of the coaches in particular in detail about this behavior and felt he was giving our team and program a bad reputation. She asked Parks and Rec to take some kind of action regarding this. Instead of taking action, Jeremy King forwarded the email from the mom to the coach that she was complaining about and said, FYI. He wanted to show this coach who was complaining about him. I have this email. It has her name and phone number on it. And later in the season, this coach retaliated against her son because of this. I witnessed it, and at the time, I didn't understand why he was targeting this player. But after seeing that Jeremy forwarded the email to this coach, I understood why. I think it's safe to assume that anytime someone sends a complaint to Parks and Rec regarding a coach's inappropriate behavior, they are assuming that they will remain anonymous. This was very inappropriate and even somewhat dangerous in this situation for Jeremy to do what he did. I read through John Wichik's interview for the investigation, and his entire statement is misleading and full of lies about me. He blames everyone else and takes no accountability for his actions. To this day, he's still retaliating against not just me and my kids, but other families who stood up to Parks and Rec. Following the investigation, Reed gave himself a $20,000 raise. Our city council also recently got a big raise, while the taxpayers of East Grand Forks have received a large raise in property taxes. It seems like our city departments serve themselves more than they serve the residents of East Grand Forks. I'm in the process of typing up my own report on what I found in my own investigation, and will be sending that to the city council shortly, along with supporting documents. The point where I'm at with all this is it's been very frustrating to go through all this and to receive the treatment that I've received. So I'm at a point where I don't have a lot of other options. Nothing has been done. There will be no accountability from what I've seen. I might just start sending all of this information publicly to see what happens. I've talked to a lawyer. The lawyer has told me he's reviewed everything that I've sent you guys, and he said you absolutely have a case for a lot of things to sue the city and Parks and Rec Department. He's offered to take the case. He's won these cases before. But there's a big risk and a lot of money involved, and I don't want to do that. But I feel like I have no choice at this point. So that's where I'm at in all this moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hanks-Laban. Is there anyone else here for open forum? Okay, I see none. Let's move on to the approval of minutes. We'd be seeking the approval of minutes for the January 13th work session, the January 20th regular meeting, and the January 27th work session. Moved by Helms.
Yep. Second.
Second by Riepel. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Helms,
Yes.
Caseme,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Schumacher,
Yes.
Pukshavinsky,
Yes.
Riopel.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to scheduled bid lettings. This week there are none. Scheduled public hearings, there are none. Moving on to consent agenda. Items listed under consent agenda will be adopted with one motion. However, council members may request individual items to be pulled from the consent agenda for discussion and action if they choose. Would any council member like an item 4 through 7 to be pulled?
I've got a question on number 5.
Go ahead, Mr. Pukshavinsky.
I've looked up these two individuals. I kind of have an idea of what's going on here. But is there any way that we can avoid this in the future? It looks like these are, I don't know if it's families that have taken out, roll-off dumpsters on behalf of a relative or something, but if they're not going to pay the bill, what steps can we take moving forward?
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
Thank you, Council. We have changed our policy. We are able to take credit cards, and we're actually doing that out at Public Works. And so if you want a roll-off like this, you pay before we deliver it.
Okay.
We won't deliver a roll-off if you don't pay up front. The other thing, I'm still working on it. I spoke to somebody in the family today. I told them that he has another chance to pay, otherwise he's going to collection. So we are still working on them, especially on a large dollar amount. There are other options. We can go to Minnesota Revenue Collection, but I know the family member does not live in state. And they also have been sent to collection because of utility bill. And it's difficult because we don't really know how we can stop this in the future. Sometimes we try to put it on so that the sale of the house doesn't go through. But we only have an option to do that on the property taxes at the end of the year. So if there's a house change in the middle of the year, we're kind of stuck. So, and we're lucky. It hasn't happened very often, but we are aware of it and doing what we can.
Okay. The only reason I ask is I would hate for someone to go and get a dumpster and just try and avoid paying that bill in the future because they're seeing this happening. So, yeah, if we have a policy now in place to take payment prior to getting the dumpster,
Correct.
then I think we're good. So
Yep.
that answers
Yeah,
my
and
questions.
we still have some companies that we do business with on a daily basis, and we don't make them pay up
Right.
front because of that business agreement we have with
Yep.
them. There are a few businesses that we don't have any trouble with it. They continually use it, our services. So it's the people that wanted the dumpster and not a company that usually uses their service.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Was there any reason or excuse that it wasn't paid?
Well, the one person is deceased.
Okay.
And the son ordered the dumpster, but the home and the address is under the deceased. But the family member didn't pay the bill, even though we sent it to him. We've talked to him on the phone. Yeah, I'm going to send it to you. We've offered to take his credit card over the phone. And he just told me today he's sending a payment. So I guess we're doing the steps so we're ready for it if we don't collect it. So.
Any further questions? Okay, if not, we
Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. We'll be looking for a motion to approve items 4 through 7.
Move 4 through 7.
Okay, moved by Riepel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Pakshavinsky. Any questions or discussion on the consent agenda? Okay, I see none. Roll call, please.
Helms,
Yes.
Kasemy,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Schumacher,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky,
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Acknowledge receipt of reports of officers, boards, and commissions. This week we have the regular meeting minutes of the Water, Light, Power, and Building Commission for January 7th, 2026. Communications, there are none. Old business, there is none. We'll move on to new business. Item number 9. Consider approving the request to keep the ice installed at the Blue Line Arena for spring and summer ice through June 15th. Moved by Peterson,
Second.
second by Riepel. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Helms,
Yes.
Kasemy,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Schumacher,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky,
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 10. Consider accepting the James Metzen Mighty Ducks Grant Award in the amount of $250,000, less administrative fees for replacement of the indirect R22 ice system at the VFW Memorial Arena. Moved by Helms,
Second.
second by Kasemy. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Helms,
Yes.
Kasemy,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Schumacher,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky,
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We'll move on to claims. Consider authorizing the city administrator, clerk treasurer to issue payment for accounts payable invoices totaling $607,783.95 and the January 23rd, 2026 payroll. Moved by Helms,
Second.
second by Peterson. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Helms,
Yes.
Kasemy,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Schumacher,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky,
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. That brings us to council and staff reports. Mayor Olsted.
Thank you, Mr. President. If anybody's looking for something to do this weekend, remember we have the 14th annual East Grand Forks Vintage Snowmobile Show. It's over by the Blue Moose on the parking lot. I think they have silent auction stuff going on most of the day, and the sled run if possible. Then awards are at 3 o'clock or 3:30. So if anybody wants to take part in that, that'd be great. I'll be over there sometime during the day, so that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Schumacher.
I have nothing, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Pakshavinsky.
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Council Vice President Riepel.
Nothing.
All right. Councilmember Helms.
Thank you. I have a couple. I don't know if this is the right time to ask, but Jeremy, in his statement, he made a remark that there was.
Excuse me, sir. Could I just say something, since there's been essentially potential litigation that's been threatened? I wouldn't have any discussions regarding this in this forum.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Galsted.
I'm going to be, this will be my last meeting for about 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks. I'm going to take off on vacation.
Okay.
I'll be on Zoom, though.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Helms. Councilmember Kasemy.
Same thing. I'll be on Zoom. The wife said we're heading south till we find palm trees. Back sometime in March.
Are there any left? They're all froze.
All right. Well, safe travels, you two. Councilmember Peterson.
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hutton.
Nothing to add tonight, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Galsted.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Emery.
Nothing.
Okay. Any updates from department heads? Okay, I see none. With that, that would bring us to the end of our agenda. I would be looking for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Peterson, second by Kasemy. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Meeting is closed. Thank you, everyone. So this is the